That's not true.
When you
And let
stop,
me show you
try it,
how.
try it, try it, try it,
Let me
try it.
show
Just
you
how
how
when you put
how
your head
you
to
don't have a choice.
listen, true said, when you
You
put your
don't
head
have a
to,
choice.
you don't have a choice, my guy.
You're saying I have a
Listen,
choice. That's
listen.
an illusion.
Okay, so how? Okay, you believe in Jesus, right? You believe in the Messiah Jesus. Maybe not the story of Jesus Christ, but you have your own understanding that Jesus was
Yeah,
a sent down to be the Messiah, right?
The
I just
Christ is a frequency of
A
knowledge.
frequency in form,
It's a
right?
way of
A
thinking.
frequency in form, correct?
The Most High Chief Baba G will say, I am the Christ.
Oh, listen,
And what you're saying is who the
go there.
spirit is
hey yo,
who
can
I
I
am.
I don't even have much time to talk. I just want to say something and go.
Hey, yo, what up,
Send them
Fluid?
a
Peace to
listen.
God.
I want to say this, peace, God. I am a 5 time I am God body because I am the
Hey,
black
peace number
Asiatic
8. What's
man and
up?
I am God. But I want to say this to you. See, when you say the physical and spiritual are the same, you are definitely wrong because you got to think of astromorphosis when you speak of astrology. See, there's no way you can grasp. You can't grasp the astromorphosis. You can't grasp that. To be in physical is to actually be able to grasp and to touch and to feel. Right? Spiritual is not that. And
I,
then another thing is you speak
If
on being
that's your
conscious.
definition.
Who determines? I hate to hear people say, "Oh, I'm conscious. I'm conscious. I'm conscious." First of all, stop connecting yourself to astrology because technically astrology deals with science, and dealing with science does not deal with consciousness.
thank you.
Consciousness is
Science does deal
spirituality.
with
But
consciousness.
what I will say is this: science does not deal with consciousness because spirit has nothing to do with science. Science is that's why because people mixing the mix and say, "Oh, science is nothing but educated magic."
Hold on.
No,
What
that
is
is not
what
what
is
it is.
Science
science?
is what can
But
be observed. The spirit
but
cannot
when
be observed
exactly the spirit cannot be exerted, so physical and spiritual is not the same, bro.
at
And
all.
to say you're and to start off with consciousness. Learning astrology is not it because no one can truly determine what does it mean
Be-
to be conscious. Because to be conscious is just to know oneself.
And to
See,
know
that's the difference is to know oneself. And to sit here and say, oh, like when you I hear how y'all talking about saying, oh, you can't like living like in nature and living in life. See, here's the thing. Evolution is warranted. There's no such thing. It's completely always living in nature, living off the land, and living as we was made to live. Because evolution is warranted. It is built in us to evolve. We will automatically elevate. That is within us. So if we go into another level of not living the way we was taught to live, or where we were made and made how to live, you know where that comes from? Because we evolved. We found a better way to live. Evolution is
Hold on. We need
warranted.
to focus. We need to focus because
Evolution is warranted. There's
we
no
need to
such thing.
focus.
Listen, and you
One
can't
thing
say
at a
focus
time.
because everybody doesn't have the same morals.
ex
Everybody don't have the same morals. So you can never say everybody can focus the same way. Everybody can be conscious in the same way. Consciousness is just having knowledge of oneself. And once you go past that, you're just being greedy and fucking ignorant.
thank you.
Once you go past
What
that with consciousness, you're
have
doing too
you?
much.
You got to understand. Okay, so I feel what you're saying. Now, first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you know that I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying is like spirit is something that you can't touch, as far as like it's something that you feel, like an intuition or like your connection to the divine is something that you can't grab with your hands. Is what you're saying to me, right?
You
Mhm.
That's
can't
I'm,
grab it.
I,
It's not
I just want to make
tangible,
this
but you
clear
can feel it.
before I make the
You
rest
can
of the point.
feel it. You can feel spirit, but you
Something you
can't
could
grab it.
feel, right?
Just like
Okay.
energy, you know it's there. Just like gravity, it's there. It's
See,
working.
So
I know where you're going with this, and she
no,
gave
no,
you
no,
the
no. I
perfect
just want to make sure I
example.
understood what you were
You know
saying clearly,
gravity
right?
is real,
Before I
but
make
you
the
can't
next
feel
point.
it.
I just want to understand. I'm understanding you clearly before I make my next point. Okay. So it's feeling. When you feel something, you're feeling energy,
Mm,
right? You're
yes,
feeling energy. It's an
yes,
energy. That spirit is energy. Spiritus, also known as breath. This is energy. Come
but
in.
See,
energy
listen,
comes in
I
two
get it, bro.
forms. It comes in
You
Yeah. So
listen.
positive
spirit
and
is
it comes
energy,
See,
right?
in
your
negative.
thing is this, right?
So
I get it. You
energy.
play your thing is the play off of words. But
Thank
Nah,
here's
you.
nah, nah.
the
I'm
first
not
thing
playing
about
with
Words
no
spirit.
words. Don't
that's
The
stop.
a different
spirit, listen,
Mute,
listen.
mute, mute
You
him real
can
quick, bro.
feel
Mute
spirit,
him.
listen, in an
Hold on. Mute them.
astrophysical form. You may feel
Because I'm
spirit.
not going to
But
talk
what
over
we're
nobody.
telling you is being physical,
I'm not about to
astrophysical and
talk,
physical
bro.
are two totally things. The key word in physical is
Hold up, man. First of all, man, show respect, man. Baba G in the room, man. Baba G in the building, man.
Hey, peace to the gods. Peace to the
Peace,
gods.
God.
How y'all feeling, man? I love the bill. Keep going. I like number 8. He got a lot of knowledge. I like number 7. She got a lot of knowledge. I want to follow y'all. Y'all follow back. Keep going.
But what I'm saying is this, right? When you speaking on physical and spiritual, right? See your breakdown. See you play on the word. You on wordplay. So you like to say spiritas because you speak of the breath. But here's the thing about spiritas when you speak of the breath, right? You know you breathing. You know air's there. But guess what? Technically, you cannot physically feel it. So when you speak on spirit, you're speaking in the astrophysical because that's all your spirit is. Now you can feel your spirit astrophysically. If you was to meditate enough and sit there and really know yourself, you can feel your spirit physically at that point. But it's astrophysical, and the key word in actual physical is fizz. What does fizz does with? What is fizz dealing with? You're a smart guy. What is fizz dealing with? Fizz comes from the atoms, the makeup of the body. What can you do to your body? You can physically feel it. It's a solid. Spirit is not solid. Spirit is only astrophysical. That's what you got to twist it at. It's a difference between astrophysical and physical. But you can continue. That's all I wanted to say.
Look. Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. But look, you're helping me, and what you said is true. And what I was saying to you was I wasn't trying to play off the words. Let me turn this down. What I was going to tell you was that through breath, the same thing. What makes us the same is our breath. That is that unseen thing.
So
Without our breath, we couldn't be conscious.
so
There,
let
like as conscious as far as weight. If you stop breathing, what's going to happen? The one thing I have in common with my chief Baba G. One thing I have in common with True. One thing I have in common with you, number 8. One thing I have in common with you, number 7, is the fact that we're breathing this same energy. We are all God. We are all the same thing. And if we're gonna take this to that level, you have to understand that on a supreme ego level, we are God. On the
okay.
alter ego level, we're different pieces of God. And to understand what piece of the all that you are, we use astrology.
So
Because the thing that makes you different from what makes me different from a tree, what makes me different from you, what makes you different from me, is the simple fact that we have a different genetic code.
no,
We're all made in
no,
cells.
no.
And what makes us different is
Absolutely,
our genetic code. That is what makes us different.
that is not true.
That
That
is very true.
because
And
because people in India that
I'm
don't
gonna let you speak. I'm
like,
gonna let you speak.
thank you. People in India that don't look like us have reached enlightenment in caves, in the desert, in the Himalayas, in the cold. My guy, it does. Of course, the weather helps. Of course, sunshine helps. Trees, fruits, fresh food. Of course, it helps. But that's not the meat of the matter. The meat of the matter is meditation, going on the inside, separating the self from the body. The reason why we are also confused and stuck in the matrix. And by the way, let me just say, Babylon is not just America. Babylon is everywhere. We have to separate ourselves from everywhere. And the only how you can do that is to get away from the physical, which is what you can observe and you can see, and go into the inside. Speak to yourself, something that you cannot see. Because in our actuality, bro, we are not what we look like. We're literally the darkness behind our eyes. You close your eyes, you are still the same person. You are just in physical form when you open your eyes. So what I'm trying to say to you is, instead of the reason you cannot, there is no way you can be a spiritual being and you're still giving into desires of the flesh, which is hate, sexual desires, even hunger is a desire of the flesh. People, you do know people can go a long time without eating. The body can do all of this. The body can literally sleep. It doesn't even have to sleep, to be honest. We can the body is just, it's just working in a physical form. The spirit, however, cannot be controlled. It cannot be observed. It cannot you have a choice at all times. When you say breath and energy, there is good energy and there is bad energy. You have the choice to decide how, which way you want to go. It's not permanent. It is not guaranteed. It's a choice. So if you say it is your choice to, for example, uh uh it's a choice to even go to the tropics right now, my guy, because you can really stay in your room and reach enlightenment, to be honest. You can. You really can. Sunshine helps, but what is it helping? It's helping the physical. Food is for the physical. The spirit cannot be fed. The spirit cannot feel sunshine. The body feels sunshine. All you need to do is focus on the spiritual, the spirit, the unidentified. God cannot be identified. Do you realize when you try to explain who God is, you get stuck? Anybody who calls himself God is not God. God is undescribable. We don't even know every one of us has an element that is in every one of us. Even wood has an element. We all have this one element that is present in all of us. What is it? It's still unidentified. That is the God molecule. You cannot say that's the ego. That's ego driven, and ego driven is of the flesh. Ego is wanting to be identified. Anything that wants to be identified is the ego. The spirit doesn't need to be identified. The spirit is
Exactly.
using the body to be identified,
Thank
but
you.
without the body, it doesn't need to be identified. It is what it is. I know what I know. I am
And
the I am.
and also I feel like this,
Okay,
right?
I would
When
like
it
to.
comes to actually
Can
finding
I build
enlightenment,
with
I'm
you?
gonna say this
Hey,
and I'm
Can
gonna
I build with
stop.
you?
But she was
No, no, no. I
saying
want you to
about,
stay. I want you to stay. I want you to stay. Can I?
oh no,
Can
no,
I?
no,
Can
no,
I
I'm gonna
ask
just
her a
stop
question?
talking.
So
Okay,
Baba
yeah.
G asked me a question. See, that's how he be
Oh no,
getting
what
at.
I
Can I build with her? Can I build with her? Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Sugar Free? Sugar Tree?
Peace and love, Baba G.
Peace, God. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you.
All right, good, good. I'm listening to what you're saying, and that's very interesting concept. I just got a question for you. Can you define what the spirit is?
No, I cannot. It's unidentified. It's a feeling. You can't describe a feeling.
Oh, you can't describe a feeling?
Can you?
Yeah.
You feel your spirit, right?
No, I
Describe it.
could, I could, I could, I could, I could, I could describe feelings. Yeah,
This
I got
describe
happy feeling, bad feeling.
describe breath. Describe breath. Describe ear.
Wind, cold, hot. Um,
How do you know that without your
well,
senses,
these are
without your
definitions.
body,
These
without
are
your body,
definitions.
not
These
know
are
that?
These are definitions. Listen, I'm asking you to identify spirit because spirit is energy.
Yes,
Period.
spirit is energy. The identify
Okay. So you just said we cannot identify it,
isn't
but we
gravity.
can.
The spirit cannot be explained. Okay, you can identify it, you can give it a name, but it cannot be explained. Where does it come from? How long is it here? When does it go? You cannot explain all of that. You cannot.
Of course we can.
Okay, so yes, you can identify it. You can give it a name, but that's still giving it a
No, I
name.
can explain where it comes from. I can explain where it comes from.
All right, where
You're
does it?
limiting us. You're no, ma'am. Just say that you can't explain it. You're
I'm
talking to somebody that
not gonna
can.
say that until you explain your point of view. I'm not gonna say
I'm,
that.
I'm going to explain to you where
So go
energy
ahead.
comes from.
Go ahead, Baba G.
Go- I'm, I'm, I'm going to. Don't limit everybody in the chat, and don't limit yourself because other people can actually enlighten you. We all have pieces of
So
information.
the
Don't limit.
difference.
Don't limit. No, don't mute her, please, because she keeps interrupting. I want to have a. You know what? Unmute her. Unmute her. Please show restraint and let me talk back and forth. All right. So just because you can't explain it doesn't mean it can't be explained. Now you said that we're spirit, right? And I asked you what is spirit, and you say, well, it can't be explained. Well, that leaves us in ignorance. And ignorance is what we're used to in Christianity. Don't ask about God. God is, it's unfathomable. That's what they do to us in Christianity. There's an answer for everything because the universe is ruled by mathematics. So we need to take our time and do the math on what is what.
Okay.
Now, you said
Hmm.
that you can't explain spirit, but spirit is energy. That's what it is. All is energy. That's what spirit is. If somebody's high spirited, they have a lot of energy. Low
Okay.
spirited, they have a low energy. Spirit means energy. We can identify energy. We can identify spirit.
Exactly, Baba G. You can identify it. You cannot explain it. To the best of your
We,
knowledge, you
we
can.
can't explain it.
That's
This is
all.
what science is.
So
Science is the
where did
study of
okay
energy.
that
This
but
is what science
gravity
is. It's
it's not
observation and
science.
study.
Baba
This is what
G.
I'm saying.
Baba G.
We
Do you
can't
know what the
explain
word
it. It's
Baba G
called science.
means? Do you know what the word Baba G means? Baba G was the name given to a monk that reached enlightenment. He went inside into the spirit. Baba
You
G
can't.
means the awakened one. Right.
You don't.
You how can
You're
how can you
talking to
have,
him.
how can you have the name Baba G and
You're
still
talking to him.
identify yourself as you're not?
No,
Listen,
literally, you're talking to him.
have you read? Do you know who Yogananda is? Do you know who Yogananda is? Yogananda is a reincarnation of Babaji. How can you not know who that is, but you are the person? All you do, so you've read the book. Have you read the book? Have you read the book? I have the book as well. Have you read the book? Have you read the book? I don't care about the pictures. Have you read the
All right,
book?
mute her for a minute, real quick. Mute her for a minute.
What?
All right, because you out of hand. I'm trying to talk to you like you have no idea who you're talking to. Period. Period. You have no idea who you're talking to. I'm about to break it down for you, though. I'm about to help you understand because you have no idea. You should have way more respect when you enter the room for me. But you don't know who I am, so I'm going to have to school you. All right. So I am Baba G, reincarnated into the African American male, came here to save the African American people. Because the African American people are the lowest people on this earth. They're the sickest and they've been done the dirtiest. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Baba G has reincarnated into the African American man to bring the knowledge to the lowest of us and to save those that are the lowest. If you know who Baba G is, Baba G takes form. He's the nameless one. He is the one that is the almighty understanding of the universe, and that's what I give you. I'm about to help you understand energy and spirit if you give me a minute. Point blank period. I'm going to help you understand what that means. You want to quickly talk but not listen. I've listened to you speak for a minute. Now it's time for you to listen. You first have to understand what spirit is. Your definition of spirit is the unknown. Oh, it's unknown, it's unknown, it's unknown. It's not unknown. All energy, if we look at the making, the very fabric of life, this is where you study quantum physics. We study the electron, we study the atom, we study the proton, the electron, the neutron. While black people are faced with ignorance of not understanding science, white people are splitting atoms and making nuclear suns. So you're sitting here limiting us and saying, "Oh, we don't know what the spirit is." But within. Within. You can't go within because the outside is in. Everything you see outside is a figment of your imagination. Your body's not real. Everything that you see, you are in a dream. Everything that you see is the inside. The outside is a projection of the inside. You would know that if you read the book, maybe. Everything you see from your body is a projection of the mind. Spirit comes from spirit, or what we call spirit, is its energy or its emotion, energy and motion. Spirit is energy and motion. What we say is spirit is what we cannot see with worldly senses. But what we cannot see in the biological realm is what regulates this reality. We call it spirit, but truly our reality is regulated by biology, and that's DNA and genetics. The spirit realm, the thing that you say when we go within, you're not going within. You're only tapping into the subconscious. I can break all of these particles down to you. You're not going within anywhere. You're only going into your subconscious. That's all you're going within to do. What you're not understanding is your environment that you're seeing outside of you is the inside of you. So without, so within. You have to understand this. You said he within. You don't need to worry about weather. Well, why do we have melanin? If weather didn't matter, then why the hell do we have a sun and moon cycles? If nature didn't matter, then how come we have all kind of different tropical herbs and spices that have an effect on the physical body? Matter of fact, epigenetically, it is known that a person cannot vibrate higher than their environment. So environment is very important for us to elevate our mind. If you study epigenetics, Bruce Lipton, you will understand that through environment, we are cells, our genetics turn off and on. If you are around negative people, then you're going to become negative. If you're around positive people, if you're in a northern hemisphere where there's less UVB. Now, what is the sun? The sun is your mind. Okay? You lose the sun, you lose your mind. We come from the sun. The sun is a symbol of your actual mind. Everything you see outside are symbols. Everything in reality is symbols. The sun is a symbol of the source of what you are, which is your mind, your soul. Okay? The more you're able to connect to the sun, we know this, the more you're able to build melanin. Then it goes into melanin. Melanin repairs DNA. DNA is the Akashic records, which rules the mind. And the more we heal our DNA, the more we'll be able to connect to the Akashic records, to divine knowledge of self. So you don't have melanin for no reason. You're talking about the spirit you doesn't have this. Matter of fact, your spirit is your physical is a reflection of your spirit. Matter of fact, your body is a figment and symbol of your spirit. It is one and the same. If you have negative thoughts, you have negative feelings, then your physical will be in a negative state. You have positive thoughts, you have positive feelings, then your physical will be in a positive state. So what you have to understand is the physical is a reflection of the spiritual. This is all a symbol of the metaphysical world, which is genetics. Now, when we say spiritual, let me break that word down for you, point blank period, so that you can have an understanding what that word is. Just stop saying that word, because spirit means energy. And we get energy from thought. In the beginning was the word, the thought, and the thought was with God, and the thought was God. The same in the beginning with God. All things were made by thought, and without thought, nothing was made that was made. We thought ourselves into existence. You are a thought, a figment of an imagination of a mind that used a thought, and that thought was the proton in the atom. And that thought manifests itself into movement through the electron, which is the negative charge, which is the feminine energy. And then these electrons started to express the thought and gave feeling, and that energy had spirit. That thought manifested itself into movement, vibration. And in that vibration, we have spirit. Spirit is the energy in motion, period. It is energy in motion. That's what spirit is. Don't tell people you can't define what spirit is. If you're talking about going within, we're talking about going into the subconscious. When you take a psychedelic, that shoots you into the subconscious realm, which is AKA the quantum field of infinite possibility. That's where everything comes from, the primordial darkness from which we all come from. So what you have to understand is to go within is to go into the subconscious. What you have to understand, when you're looking outward, you're walking inside. Think of life as these eyes as projectors. If you close the lens of the projector, close your eyes. Can you see anything? No. Open them. You see them? Life is a projection. And your eyelids are the lens. You just shut the lens when you close your eyes. Now open your eyes. Can you see now? Oh, so that means these eyes are projectors. I'm projecting because when I close these eyes, I can't see anything. But when I open them, boom, reality appears. So I'm projecting reality. See how that works? Just like when you watch a movie, if you have a projector, you close the lens, it doesn't mean that the movie doesn't still exist. The movie still exists because it's